So we are looking at the last part of the directional, which is the liquidity, which is the geopolitical,
Yes.
which is the geopolitical or fundamental.
Okay.
Geopolitical or fundamental bias. Now this is not going to be long, very long, because just few things to cover. It's going to be a bit short. Action bias. So now the geopolitical, now this is mainly the way I will look at news. This is where we look at the news. So now we have a lot of news that we always do look at. First, we look at NFP. We have NFP. Let me just write. We have NFP. We have CPI. We have CPI. We have PPI. PP. Right? What kind of news? What kind of news we have? We have unemployment. Unemployment claims. Unemployment claims. We also have economic news. Maybe those, yeah. CPI. Those are the one of the hardest news. One of the news that we always have in this trading industry. Now, all of these news we trade them using the same directional bias, which is called a geopolitical or the fundamental. Now, because now this is where we look at the situation or the economy of the country. This is where we look at the economy and the situation of the country to trade this kind of news. Don't just come from nowhere and trade this news. Firstly, we look at the political reasons. Okay, look at the political reasons. Look at the political reasons. Look at the economy of the country. Okay, we will also look at number of employment opportunities available, the teens, the teenagers, are they having jobs, and so on and so on. Now, whenever we are trading this kind of news, we always trade based on the available areas of liquidity. We trade based on available areas of liquidity. Now, there is no specific strategy that is designed to trade these news, like how these other mentors out here always say that we have news trading strategy. No, it's not there. It's not there. Though we trade based on structure and liquidity available. Now, let's just assume now we're having this we're having this kind of structure. Let's assume that we're having this kind of a structure on the dollar. Having this kind of a structure on the dollar. Okay, so you may see that the dollar performed a shift point here. Okay.
This is DXY now.
Yeah, DXY, yeah. Which is also DXY. I may call it the DXY or the dollar. It's also the same.
Oh, okay.
Or I may call it the XY. Okay. Now, based on this, we can clearly see now the dollar is having an area of liquidity or the inside information which is here. Now let's assume that we are having a news in 30 minutes or in 1 hour from now. Now we know now this dollar or the DXY moves all the dollar based pairs. So we have two categories. So we have here you have Euro USD, Euro USD, have GBP, USD, we have NZ, USD, we have AUD, USD. What else? We have XA, USD, and we have the USD. Oh no, it's not among them. Okay. So here we are also having USD CAD. We also have USD CHF. We also have USD ZAR, USD Mexico, USD Mexico, USD. Let me just USD JPY because most of the people don't trade. And USD Mexico maybe the last one. USD. Now here, whenever now we are having, let's assume we are having CPI. We are just assuming we are just having CPI. Now we have this structure on the dollar index or the DXY. Now, if we are trading news or the news on your push price to the available areas of liquidity. News push price to the available areas of liquidity. News push price for available liquidity. Okay, meaning that if we are having this as our available areas or area of liquidity on a dollar, means we have high chances for price to push market from this here back to this weekly to this daily. Maybe now this is maybe the 4-hour area of liquidity. Okay, 4-hour area of liquidity. So now we know that if price is going to push price to the available area of liquidity, means that we expect the dollar to buy from this area to push it to the available area of liquidity before it continues to sell. Meaning that if we are expecting price to go to this area of liquidity, meaning that we shall also be buying this pairs because they start with the USD, meaning that whatever direction the dollar is moving, these will also be moving in the same direction. USD CAD, USD CHF, and USD ZAR, USD JPY, and USD Mexico, meaning that these pairs will also be moving in an opposite direction based on where the dollar is likely to go. Meaning whenever we are buying this USD CAD, we are going to sell USD, Euro USD, GBP USD, NZD, and so it is. Now, sometimes according to the structure, sometimes the dollar doesn't move gold. Okay? Sometimes, so whenever you're trading these news, make sure that sometimes don't rely on what are they. The dollar doesn't move gold. The dollar doesn't move gold, but what moves gold is silver, which is ZAG. Silver is the one that moves gold. Though sometimes they are a bit correlated, they are a bit have some similar feelings in each other. They have some feelings in each other, the dollar and gold, but they are not so close, or they're not so related to each other together. So sometimes whenever me I'm trading news, and I may not even decide to trade gold because now the dollar doesn't move. Okay, so this is what we always do consider. So now, after getting the area of liquidity available on DXY, sorry. Whenever we spot an available area of liquidity on DXY, before even deciding to do what's next, we have also to go and invest on all of these pairs to see the structures we have there. So sometimes in most of the cases, 85%, we are also having the same similar structure to what the DXY is having. Okay? They may not be more similar, but whenever you see, so whenever you have whenever you have this, their structures will be a bit related to what the DXY is printing. Whatever the DXY is printing. Okay, and these will have a structure based on opposite way. Okay, on the opposite way to what the dollar is printing, meaning that whenever we are expecting the dollar to move up, this will also be buying, okay, and this will be selling. So some of the pairs that we don't trust their movement is USD CHF. Sometimes USD CHF moves against the dollar. It moves against the dollar. Even sometimes on news, we can see the dollar buying while USD CHF is selling. Okay, while USD CHF is selling. So you need to note those kind of things. Okay, so whenever you're trading at the dollar-related news, CPI, and so on, NFP, what, we always based on available areas of liquidity, and most of the times applies whenever price is in an area of liquidity. Let's assume now we see the dollar is having this as the area of liquidity. It's always in the area of liquidity. Okay, meaning there are high chances for it to continue pushing upper because it is in an area of liquidity. Price will just add in that momentum to push it upper, to push it more. Okay, now the difference in this is that news only add volatility in the market. Just add volatility in the market and also push price to the nearest or push price to the areas of liquidity available. The areas of liquidity available. Now this will be better if you are working with the DXY related. You're working with the DXY related news. Okay. Sometimes we have a news like the CHF news. Sometimes we have the news like sometimes we have news like the CHF news on CHF CPI, CHF CPI, CHF CPI, or GBP CPI, or GBP CPI, or Euro CPI news, and so on and so on. Now, this kind of news, we trade them also based on available areas of liquidity. GBP CPI, Euro CPI, and CHF CPI. Also, those pairs that you all know. Okay? We trade them based on available areas of liquidity. Now, here, I told you we always have now to invest. If you're going to trade CPI, the GBP CPI, and this CPI only this, we have a CPI, meaning you're going to also do the same thing. You're going to move on correlation. Yes?
Amiri.
Yes?
Oh, so is there every currency has a different CPI? I thought it's always the same.
No, every pair.
Oh, so there's GBP CPI, Euro CPI, USD CPI.
Yeah, because now every country has, because now we are dealing with different countries. Every country is having a different economy, a different way how it runs its currency. Okay, so whenever we have such kind of news, we always base on the previous data from the Forex Factory. Okay, you always based on the previous data from the Forex Factory. Okay. Also based on the available areas of liquidity. Let me just write it here. Okay, yeah, so that even if you review this, you'll be able to So in trading this kind of a news, we always trade them based on available data from Forex Factory. We trade on Forex Factory. We trade this data based on available areas of liquidity. Available areas of liquidity. And lastly, it trades CPI CFTP based on correlation concept. Hello? Concept. Like when you have like NZ CPI for NZ CPI. Now you are based on the data available. You will go on the Forex Factory and see, because now on the Forex Factory they always print that they always say the previous data and the forecast. So you can based on that, the previous data and the forecast, you can based on that and first guess where price is going to go. Because we use the previous data that occurred in the last month. Let's assume that last month we had 30, just assuming. Now the forecast, they may say that I will expect 22, okay? Meaning that there will be a fall in the currency, okay, of this pair, okay? Meaning that according to the forecast on this Forex Factory, mean that the news may be negative for the dollar, for NZ, negative for the NZ. Okay, so meaning if they are negative, it will continue reducing the available data. What we expect the NZ to sell. Okay, meaning that we are going now to go on NZ pairs and use that correlation concept to look for the available areas of liquidity there. Because now I've got the data from the Forex Factory. Mean that on the Forex Factory, we see now that they mean that the NZ might fall or might sell, may get reduced prices, because now the previous data was 30. Okay, now the forecast, what they expect is the 22, meaning that there will be a fall in it. Okay, so what we do is now we have now to go to NZ pairs. Now you have now to look at, let's assume Euro NZ. You have now to look at Euro NZ and also NZ CAD. Okay, so if we have a fall, if the news are going to be negative, if news are going to be negative to the NZ, meaning that if the pair starts with NZ, the pair is starting with NZ, is going to do what? If the news are negative, is going to do what?
Sell.
It's going to sell, not so? And if news are positive and are negative for the dollar, for the NZ, pair ending with NZ is going to do what? To buy. Are you together?
Okay.
It's going to buy, because now if NZ is the quote currency, NZ CAD, this is what NZ CAD is the quote currency. So if NZ CAD is the quote currency, if NZ is a quote currency, mean that we saw that now this NZ is weak, meaning that NZ is going to sell for on NZ CAD is going to sell, while the Euro NZ is going to
go up.
Going to buy, because now the NZ is ending. Okay, so the Euro NZ is going to gain power, and the NZ CAD is going to fall based on the data available. Now, before deciding on the data available, we have now to look for the available areas of liquidity. Is price in an area of liquidity, or price will be targeting an area of liquidity on both sides? Okay, so now before deciding on what the data is as, before deciding on the data given, because also that data given may also not be helpful for some time. Okay, sometimes that data may come and news, we have what we call news being revised, and they don't come as expected, because now here we see we add 30, here we have 22, meaning that we expect the NZ to fall. Right together. So when the news are revised, it means that the data came as unexpected. We are expecting NZ to sell, but it just had an increase. Right together. We just had an increase
Yes.
in the price or in whatever the economy or what. Okay. So sometimes we also get disappointments from news. Now, before even deciding what to use the data from the Forex Factory, what do? We first come and then compare these correlation pairs now before the news is about to be released. Now we come here and check what's there on both Euro NZ, and NZ CAD. Okay. Now, whenever we try to compare these two, we can get what to decide to do. Okay. Now, here we may be having this kind of a structure here. Price shifted an idiom liquidity. Okay. Then here you're having something. Okay, price shifting to an area of liquidity. And it may not be inside, sometimes it may be outside the formation. So now here, whenever you put something like this, now you know what is going to happen. Now, it means that whenever news are released, we may see the Euro NZ buying back to this area of liquidity. Okay, and we may see the NZ CAD selling back to this area of liquidity because news only push price to the available areas of liquidity. If price is in an area of liquidity, price will just push it to the nearest or to the next area of liquidity. Only news add volatility in the market. That's the only purpose for the news. They add volatility in the market. Okay? They only push price to the available areas of liquidity. They'll push price.
That's why sometimes you may be on the trend and just leave it and it still goes to your way.
That's why, yeah, just need to set a break even. If the news come positive, they'll just move in your way. If they come negative, they'll just hit you because now we may be anticipating that price is going to go up and then they come reversing. Like the last time CPI. Okay, last time CPI and it was the CPI and NFP. We are anticipating a bullish move, but what price did first gave a spike down and then later moved to our direction, which took us out for those who bought. So now this is how I trade news. I really do this. I do compare these pairs based on the correlation concept and also add in the data available to the Forex Factor to compare what is going on. And sometimes this is what I also do. Now, sometimes I always do something like this because now I know sometimes the news in the Forex Factory may be revised. So whenever I'm having this kind of structure here, okay, it's a bit related, and the news are sometimes I don't follow what the Forex Factory is saying based on what I see on the structure. Right together. Because now with the Forex Factory, yes, we may say that now the Forex Factory may say now that the previous we are 35, let me say we are 35.6. Okay, 35.6 the previous. So then they can say that now the forecast is 49.6, meaning that there will be an increase in the NZ. It may be buying. Also, so when you come here, the NZ meaning that the NZ card may be buying. Okay, NZ card may be buying, and Euro NZ might be selling. Now, when you look at the Forex Factory data, you see, but what you see that you expect the NZ card to buy. Okay, you expect NZ card to buy, and you expect your NZ to sell. But when you go to the marking the structure, you see that you expect the Euro NZ to buy back to the area of liquidity, and you expect price to sell for NZ card before buying. So that's where the total confusion comes to all the sides. Okay, so what are you going to do? You're not going to follow the data from the Forex Factory then. Are we together? You're not going to follow the data from the Forex Factory because now with Forex Factory they are also expecting. So in this strategy, we always play the logical what we see, not what we expect. Are we together? So meaning that whenever I see something like that, according to my structure, I see that we may have a bullish move back to the area of liquidity, or we may have a sell back to this area of liquidity. I may refuse to use the data from the Forex Factory and do use the structure given on each pair. How to do that? So let's look at let's look before data before time goes. So that's how trading. We shall have our last session, our live trading, and I'll show you how this works. How this.
So it's data given upfront before the news. Is it available?
Yeah.
Or usually they provide it after the news.
Before the news, you go and check the Forex Factory. I'll provide you a screenshot of the Forex Factory. See. So now here, let's check. So we are having. Let me add the XY. XY. So here we're having the DXY, the dollar. So the dollar, this is a weekly time frame. This is a weekly time frame. Okay. You can clearly first see the structure price block market structure left this area of liquidity here, and it was consumed. Later price came, blocked the structure, and this area was consumed. Meaning that if that area is consumed, price may also be coming to fill this area of liquidity because now we have a type 6, a type 7 area of liquidity. Okay. So now let's assume that we are having this kind of a structure. We are having this kind of a move on the dollar. Okay. So let's first go out the daily time frame then. So even if we don't use, let me first put price. Just put price and I'll show you. Now here, this Friday news, we had a break market structure here. So price had this area of liquidity here. Because now remember the news, the price action was here. The price action was here before the drop. Okay. We had that outside formation, which was a bit consumed. Okay, but I told you price needs to consume an area of liquidity 80% because now this is not consuming an area of liquidity. Okay, this is not consuming an area of liquidity. Meaning the price was in an area of liquidity, but did consume that area of liquidity 80%. Okay, so even if we note that even this area isn't consumed, but we have to first use the outside formation before considering anything else. Okay, now we also see now the dollar shifted here, left this outside formation, this inside formation, and this outside formation. Now we have this as the area of liquidity available. Okay, we have that area of liquidity available, but remember we are on the dollar index or the DXY. You can clearly see up. Okay, now meaning that price must first come and consume this area of liquidity 80% of it or 90% of it, meaning it must come inside this area of liquidity to fully consume it before it moves it to the next area of liquidity. That's why price didn't buy back to this area of liquidity, didn't buy back to this area of liquidity. Rather, price had to first come and reconsume all the areas of liquidity before buying to the next area of liquidity. Yeah, meaning that it would be high chances for price to drop, for the dollar to continue selling because it must consume this area of liquidity available 80 or 90%. Here it consumed 50%, even maybe 40%. So that is not consumed. That's why we saw the dollar selling back to this area. Now this area of liquidity is fully consumed now. Okay, so maybe price is going to be dropping back to this area of liquidity here. So this week we may see the dollar selling back to this area of liquidity here. Okay, meaning that if we are having news next week, price will be buying from this area of liquidity back to this available area of liquidity before it continues moving down. Even not that, because now price also performed a new structure, meaning that price will be coming to this available area of liquidity before continuing to sell. That's what we have now to do. So if we are expecting the dollar to sell back to this area of liquidity, okay, this was the available area of liquidity. Wanted to see price consuming. Okay, this was the available area of liquidity. Wanted to see price consuming, meaning that when you had to go now to the to Euro USD, because now to Euro USD will was supposed to sell, was supposed to buy. Euro USD was supposed to sell, which is here. So it's even anticipating the sales back that area there. So meaning, if Euro USD was supposed to sell, we had also to look for the available area of liquidity. Remember, price had performed a shift point here. Price has performed a shifting point here. Price was supposed to form. Let me first receive this amount. Meaning that price has performed a shift point. Yes.
Oh, sorry, I had lost you a little bit. It's okay now.
Okay. So meaning that price had an area of liquidity available, which was here before, because now this is where price so now I wouldn't consider this as my shift. I wouldn't consider this as much, but I would consider this as my shifty point because now because we have a hidden structure inside this area on lower time frame, meaning that disturbing me. I have a problem with my phone. I don't know why it's disturbing me a lot.
No, it's okay. So it means if you got the areas of liquidity correct,
yeah. So now
you'll be right. Even if there is news, even if there's no news, most of the time you will be correct.
Yeah, you'll be correct. Now here, the available area of liquidity that I would expect, because now this seems that to have consumed at least this area. This seems to have consumed this area. You can carry this longer wick came inside this area of liquidity, meaning it has consumed it. So meaning that this was the available area of liquidity that wasn't consumed. That's why when you saw me the discussion group, I expect to sell from this area, meaning that I was expecting the bullish move on Euro USD and expect the DXY to sell.
Drop.
You remember, eh? So that's what I always do when I'm trading this kind of news. So that's what you have to do too if you want to win this. I'll also add something the near future, when you're still together.
Yeah.
When you're still together. So another reason why I was expecting to sell the DXY is that I had an available area of liquidity here, but I over-refined. I did over-refine on
Yes.
USD card, but if I was expecting the USD card to. I was expecting the USD card to sell, meaning that because now USD card was also available, was also in the an area of liquidity. It was in its own area of liquidity, meaning that there are high chances for this USD card to sell. Okay.
Yes.
When you go now to
Yes.
JPY, another USD pair, when you go now to USD JPY, it was also in a downtrend. Okay, so we always do
Yeah.
such kind of things. So now let me show you. Even when you look on when you look on GBP USD, it performed a shift and it had an area of liquidity available, which was here. Okay, meaning that there are also chances for it to buy from that area and then sell.
And then sell.
So that's how we trade the news altogether. So we shall also have one more.
Yeah.
After covering all the topics, we shall also have one session on how to get with the news, including first factory data. I'll organize everything before we move on.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how we trade the news. So you shouldn't confuse yourself with the news. Okay? So someone
Okay.
out there and say that he's selling the news course, you should not buy it, because now he's going to give you something you know.
I did before from a guy from South Africa. I blew up my account.
From who?
Last year, the guy, just an Instagram guy from South Africa.
So here, now
Last year.
if price fails to respect this area, will mean that this area is going to be available for us to continue selling. Okay, so now when you go now to the DXY, you see it has this down area of liquidity down here. You see this down area of liquidity, which is also available for us to continue buying this pair. So if we are having news next week, maybe we will expect the price to drop inside this area before it buying, meaning that the dollar, I mean the GBP USD, will also get them to buy up this area of liquidity, so that this one is going to sell and the other one is going to buy. Okay? How news we trade the news. We don't have any other strategy based on the news. Okay, we shall also be having one more session as we move on about this news. In addition to this, okay, we shall have a live trading with the news with my students and show you how to trade.
Okay.
Very good, yeah.
Right.
That's all I can say about this directional bias. That news direction or the fundamental direction. Right now, we are starting our next topic tomorrow. What is our next topic? Our next topic. It's called the advanced market structure, deep understanding of the swing laws, high structure formations. So we shall also go into that because now I'm arranging my work, my course, so that other people who pay will just join and watch the videos. Okay.
I made the first lot on this updated course.
I have 2 more people.
Okay.
Some people want it.
Yeah, so man, it's working.
Yeah?
It's working. I can see the entries and the consistency of the trades.
Yeah. So now it will just require you to be active or to give in necessary when